AITA for asking my wife not to cook for me anymore. My 30M wife, 26F, is a disaster in the kitchen. She leaves a huge mess behind after she's done with cooking. She uses a zillion utensils even to make a coffee. Don't ask me how. It's an unsolved mystery. Today, she said she learned this new recipe from her mom and went into the kitchen to prepare it. When she was done, it turned out to be vodka pasta. It tasted horrible because she added an entire bottle of vodka. She also put too much salt and it ended up tasting like salt with pasta on the side rather than pasta seasoned with salt. So I told her to make whatever she wants only for herself and never for me, and also to clean up the kitchen after she's done cooking. To add, I've always cooked for us ever since we got married. I don't even mind cooking for her. She has no reason to cook for both of us. She says she wants to learn to cook. So I told her to make herself food and I'll taste a bit to tell her where she could do better. AITA? Edit. I work as a chef at a restaurant and I work nearly 12 hours a day. So I have just enough time to get as much work done as possible at home and then go to sleep. When my wife cooks, the food turns out to be inedible and it ends up in the trash. Then, I have to clean up, cook again and then clean up once again. So it's so much work for me. She refuses to go to a cooking class too. I don't have time to and teach her. Edit 2. She boiled the pasta in vodka and water. Then she made the sauce with more vodka. Her logic was that since vodka is one of the important ingredients, adding more of it would make it taste better than the given recipe. She didn't realize that vodka makes food bitter when added in large quantities. After reading your edit, I'm 100% sure you're NTA. You have to clean her mess, cook again, then clean again? And she refuses to take classes knowing you're too exhausted to teach her? As well, I find it weird she doesn't clean up after herself. Or even clean after you cook to divide the labor evenly. You can't be expected to clean her mess, cook, clean again, and teach her all while she probably won't help do any of the cleaning but loves doing the eating. As well, you can't be expected to put in all the work like this. There are tons of ways for her to educate herself on cooking. You're not responsible for teaching an adult woman a basic living skill? I mean, really. She could watch videos, shows, read books. There are so many resources for her to use if she's too embarrassed of taking a class. People are being too hard on you in the comments. Man, just because she's your wife doesn't mean you have hold her hand on something she's capable of doing on her own. She's an adult. She can do things for herself. Also, if she just cooks for herself, she'll be wasting a lot less food on her mess-ups. Just saying. Just out of curiosity, did your wife moved straight from her parents' home to your home after marriage? Has she ever prior to marriage cleaned, cooked for herself, or was she babied by her parents till she moved out of her parental home? NTA. All the comments here bashing the husband for being rude. But no one seems to notice that the wife creates a mess but doesn't bother to clear it. If she is learning to cook and makes a disaster, it's her responsibility to clear it up as well. You don't make a mess and then leave it to someone else to clean it up. If you want to learn to cook, you should first understand that cleaning is a major part of it. Also, she doesn't want cooking classes. She can't follow a recipe given to her. He works 12 hours and does all the cooking and cleaning the kitchen for them. This incident doesn't seem to be the first one to happen either. I can see why he is losing it now and is sounding rude. Frustration can do that to you. NTA. Cooking involves cleaning up as you go. She could have asked for help. She could have helped you as you cook, and she could have gone to her mom's to learn and cook that vodka pasta. I just feel she's trying on a whim. NTA. She cooks, she cleans. If you can you bring leftovers from your work home for you at least when she cooks? Info. Does she not realize that YouTube has cooking lessons now? She can find a variety of actual chefs, along with home cooks, that are willing to teach their ways for free in the comfort of your own home. The catch is, she has to follow directions. NTA. Your wife doesn't even eat the food she's cooking. So she's making unnecessary messes and wasting food? While making you double work after working 12s? In a kitchen? She either needs to swallow her pride and go to cooking classes. I saw where you said she refuses. Or stop wasting food by ruining dishes. She didn't learn that recipe. She skimmed over it and threw that shit together. There's no reason a grown woman can't follow directions. LMAO. NTA. Is she like insecure or something about not knowing how to cook? I don't understand why she is so adamant about doing this every day. It's not normal. She should be more considerate about the amount of extra work she's creating for you. Honestly, if my husband would cook for us and he didn't mind it, I'd be fine. I just have a lot of questions. Lol. NTA. The edit says you don't have time to teach her. But if she really wants to learn, then she can watch when you cook, and you could just tell her what you're doing as you're doing it so she can see how it's done. Also, writing out some simple recipes for her to try out and follow directions step by step may boost her confidence so that she can feel productive. She should also be cleaning up after herself, even if it's putting dishes in the dishwasher. NTA. This seems like a little stupid game your wife is playing on you. I mean, she absolutely must clean up the kitchen after herself. What is she? A child? This shows that she is being dishonest about the whole wanting to cook for you scenario. Or your wife has the mentality of a 8 years old. Someone else will clean up after me. NTA. Your wife knows her food is inedible. She's destroying the kitchen and wasting ingredients which you said she then throws away. Then she sits back and says she's so tried from her cooking attempt she can't clean up after herself. She then sits back while you clean, cook for both of you, and clean a second time. She knows she is not feeding anyone with her attempts. So she's engaging in a hobby. Fine. But you don't expect your son to walk behind you and clean up your hobby. NTA. I dated a chef once. Your hours are long and crappy a lot of times. You spend your day on your feet cooking for a lot of people. Multiple items at once. Coming home to inedible food and a trashed kitchen is really crappy. Some people really are terrible cooks, even if they try. But leaving a mess like that is absurd. NTA. It's one thing to be not so good at cooking. It's another to refuse to get lessons. Repeatedly ruin food and make it look like a bomb has hit the kitchen and leave it for someone else to clean up. She should clean up. She goes and pick a very simple dish or two to practice until she makes edible pasta or something. It doesn't have to be from scratch to start with. She can move on to making her own sauces, etc. when the basics improve. This is why you make sure your son, daughter can do the minimum. Some people aren't taught how to do the basics and end up floundering. My 8-year-old can make a basic spag bowl with bot sauce. We'll move on to making her own when she's a bit bigger. As long as I supervise. She's not allowed to use the hob alone yet. We cook all the time. Mostly cake, etc. But it's all practice. Over half-term she's making apple and blackberry crumble. Wish me luck. It's going to be messy. and she'll do her fair share of clearing it up. Why can't she just watch when you cook? You don't really have to teach her per se. NTA, you should introduce your wife to YouTube. It can do wonders. NTA. Using an entire bottle of vodka for some pasta is a lot, to be honest. To me, asking someone to clean up after themselves is a reasonable request. Maybe next time try to be more supportive though. NTA. I don't know if she's just terrible in the kitchen or doing this on purpose so you will cook. NTA. Do you have or can you get a dishwasher? Does she know how to use one? They make portable units that hook up to the faucet for apartment folks without permanent hookups. If that's an issue and you think it would help. I hate hand washing. But it is super easy to load the dishwasher as I cook and then wipe counters and stove when I am done. NTA. If you were having to clean up her mess, then cook again. Agree, a cooking class sound like a very good idea, or starting her with a baking cookbook so she can learn to follow a recipe. Let's face it, baking is a science and a great way to start learning. It's a real shame these basic life skills are not being taught to so many PPL.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.